All right, everyone. Welcome once again. We are here at the Faces of Business. I am your host, Damon Pistolka, and I am excited for our guest today because we got Mike Franz here today from Manufacturing Power talking to us about getting past e-commerce objections. Welcome. Welcome, Mike.
Damon, thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here. Can't wait to chat with you and chat about some fun stuff.
Yeah, real good. Real good. Well, Mike, we always like to start the show off kind of similar. So let's go back a ways. Tell us a bit about Mike. How you kind of ended up where you are today?
Oh boy. Okay, so how did I come up and get into this crazy industry, manufacturing, industrial supplies, all that stuff?
Yep.
Well, first of all, it's been a lifelong dream to get involved in industrial supplies. I'll tell you that. Actually, growing up, no, I'm somewhat kidding there, but never thought I'd really fall into this line of business. But it's been a blessing. It's been great. I really enjoy it. But going back, I always thought I would be in the NBA. But that didn't quite pan out. I did play basketball growing up, but a 5'10" guy that's like me, can't jump, isn't very fast, and can barely dribble with his left hand. That presented some challenges when it came to that dream. But I went to college to be in sales and marketing, and got a degree in that, and just kind of fell into industrial supplies as a job, and it's kind of grown from there.
Cool. So looking back over the history of your sales career, what are some of the things that stood out that you go, man, I never thought I would be in this situation selling stuff?
Oh man, that's a good question. And there's a story that I always tell that being in a situation, I'm not going to use any names, but I will tell you the story. At a past company that I worked at, which was a lot of fun, but ran into a lot of challenges. It was actually OEM of a particular components that we made, and I had worked 4 years to go through all sorts of audits through a particular company to actually gain their trust, and then their business. And within 6 months, we were failing as far as producing the product that we had signed up to. We won some business, and then we started failing to actually provide the product. And due to that company came up and actually fired us as a supplier. And I was completely devastated. Like, this was, it was a lot of hard work that just kind of went down the tubes.
Yeah.
And at the end of that meeting, my boss's boss at the time, came up to me, put his arm around me, and he said, "Look, we're better off without them as a customer." And I said, "You have got to be kidding me. I worked my butt off for 4 years to get this business, and you're telling me that because we failed that we're better off without them." And it was a significant contract that we'd signed. And I literally went back into my office, threw my computer against the wall, and basically that was the end of my time at that company. Self-chosen end of time there, but that was a huge lesson. I never thought I would hear that from a very high level person within a company. That was a huge learning experience for me, for many reasons. But I never thought I'd be in that situation.
Yeah. Wow, that's something. There's something.
It was nuts.
You think about executives in a company, and they're saying, "Well, we don't want those sales." It's and taking that much effort to get there. You think that before then you would have known that.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that could have probably happened in a different way, in my opinion. But great learning experience. And you know what? the reason I always like go back and think about that is because learning from your mistakes and learning from those types of opportunities, something, those failures is something that I've tried to carry through, since then and on now.
Yeah. Good stuff. So let's fast forward a little bit. So you are now formed ManufacturingPower 5 years ago, been working in there to help industrial supply distributors and the people that use their products kind of marry up better. Let's talk about that a little bit, because
Sure.
I really think this is an interesting story. And then we can talk about getting past e-commerce objections, because I think it's going to tie together wonderfully.
Yeah. So back when kind of the idea of ManufacturingPower was developed, I was working for another OEM company that sold through distribution. And the idea was to basically democratize the same products and the pricing of the same products at volume type levels. So what I mean by that is we would go to 10 different small, mid-sized manufacturing companies and sell the exact same product to those companies at similar volumes. And we would grab pricing out of the air and we would just throw it at them and see if it stuck. And there was no commonality to that pricing. And I thought that was kind of unfair to the end user or the small to mid-sized manufacturer, that if they knew that the guy down the street was paying 30% less than them, they might want to know that.
Yeah.
So that's how ManufacturingPower developed, and to kind of level the playing field when it came to that. And there's, those are some of the things that started ManufacturingPower, but and now we're in the process of helping distributors as well, as far as identifying local distribution through a mobile app that allows small to mid-sized manufacturers to really be able to find these distributors, these local distributors, find price and availability at local distribution, which is pretty exciting stuff for us too.
Yeah. Well, it is. Distributors aren't the best at marketing themselves. They're really good at moving product.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's good. I coming back to this, what you're talking about, leveling the playing field. I really, it's an interesting thing to think about, because, if you are using supplies, whatever it is, and I mean, supplies is a huge cost in a lot of manufacturing companies. And if you're saying that there's a lot of I shouldn't say flexibility, but there's a lot of price differential. So if I'm buying 10,000 of this and I'm company A and I'm paying $1, and I'm buying 10,000 of this in company B and I'm paying $1.25 or 95 or 85, and we're not seeing that across the board. You're right. I didn't realize that existed as much as you're saying it did. I thought basically, hey, I'm going to buy this from company X, distributor X, and I'm going to get it if I'm at quantity, I'm going to get it pretty close to the same price of the person down the street. So
yeah, I mean, I'm taking that example, 30% higher. Maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but in some cases it is that high and higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to level the playing field, I mean, I look at it like, many times I'll use cars as an example. So you go into one dealership, you're looking at a Ford Mustang, and I don't know, you probably like driving real fast. I can just tell by talking with you, but you go in, you're looking at a Ford Mustang, and from one dealership, and they got the sticker price on there. And then you do the negotiation and you get it down, $5,000. Let's just say that. Then you go to the next dealership and, they give you it for $6,500 off the sticker price. And it's like, it's kind of the same deal.
Yeah.
If your negotiation skills are good, you get a better price. If you're buddies with the sales guy, you're going to get even a better price. It's all that kind of stuff that comes into play. So, just kind of a example that everybody can kind of relate to.
Yeah. And that is, and me driving fast. Yeah. That's why I don't have cars that go fast anymore. Or motorcycles. That's worse for me.
Oh
But anyway,
boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful now.
Yep. When you have to figure out how fast each one of your vehicles goes, it's not a good place to be. My world. So yeah, that combined with wide open spaces, it tends to be fun, but it's not healthy.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so we're talking about leveling the playing field. Another thing that I've seen as I'm looking through the products and the services, the way you guys are doing it, you mentioned another thing. It's finding the products you need. So that is a big thing for manufacturers, especially, you know, if you're in the maintenance or you're in the design and you're looking for certain kinds of things that you need there too. So what are you seeing that this democratization and giving people this information is really helping manufacturers to do beyond price?
Yeah, well, I mean, just to speak from our personal experience. So like over the last 2 years, we all know what's happened over the last 2 years with the disaster of things that have happened. But one of the biggest things, obviously, was supply chain and being able to find product. And our customers and potential customers came to us and said, hey, you know, it's great to think about pricing, but we need stuff. We need to find things, and when we need them, we need them. You know, we don't want to have a line down situation. We need product. We can't find it. How can we do that? So I worked with a bunch of people that are much smarter than me on developing something that shows price and availability from local distribution. So we tried to find a way to work with local distributors to see what their published price is, and if they have it in stock. And we put it into one, you call it an aggregator model. We aggregated all those distributors and we put them in one location, so that if somebody searches for a widget or an N95 mask, let's say, you know, unfortunately, everybody knows what an N95 mask is now, a respirator. If they're searching for that, they have a single source or place to look, instead of going to like a Google search, which will show you places in Arizona, places up in Maine, places down in Florida, in a pay-to-play type of environment, where we just wanted to simplify that search for small, mid-sized manufacturing companies, any type of manufacturer, maintenance person, whoever, to say, okay, I need those N95 masks. And we said, okay, who's within 100 miles of that person's phone? What distributors are within that radius? And who's got it and how much is it? And then they can go search. They're connected to their websites, and they go there and can make those e-commerce type of purchases. So we're kind of driving business to the local distributors as well when they have inventory.
Yeah. And allows your customers to get the product they want faster. Yeah.
That's the bottom line. We've tried to make it as easy for the end user as possible to we say search, find, buy. Search it, find it, make that purchase from a local distributor, somebody that they trust.
Yeah. Real good.
But that's, you know, I'm doing, you know, talking about our stuff, but that was, you know, that was the common concern over the last couple of years and into today, as far as the supply chain and, you know, where can we find things? It doesn't necessarily matter where they get it from. It's just, hey, we need to find industrial, in their case, industrial supply products that that fit their needs. And that was it continues to be a challenge.
Yeah. Well, and as we talk about this now, I mean, it's going to become relevant why we're going to talk about getting past e-commerce objections, because when you went out to do this and you started talking to these local distributors, and this is why we want to talk about this, because I think if you're a distributor listening to this, this is going to be a very relevant conversation for you to write down a couple notes here, because everybody is looking to grow their business. Maybe someone's not, but the vast majority of us are.
Yeah.
So when you went out there and you said, hey, distributor person, I have this thing that will put you together with more customers, allow you to be found easier and not in the pay to play standpoint.
Yep.
What are some of the objections that you heard from them and why they wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah, the number one objection is showing their list price. They want to put up many times they'll want to put up some sort of paywall or make it more difficult for the end user to actually access that visibility. And I have my opinions about that, but it's that, and it's a concern about the race to zero as far as margins in a low margin business in many cases.
Oh, yeah.
And I certainly understand that the concern about pricing and showing that, but there's a couple things that have come to light, and over the last couple of years. One is just because many people in procurement positions were sitting at home over the last 2 years, and their buying expectations have changed a little bit. You got Amazon out there where you can you go on there, you search the product, you see the price, and you make that purchase. Well, there are other aspects of the B2B sales cycle, obviously, or the sales process that we know about, but the expectation from the end user is that. And it's like, okay, do I want to buy from somebody where I can go on their website, I see the price, I make the buying decision, I click the button, and it's done, and it's shipped to me that day?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty easy. That's awesome. Or do I go on their website, I've got to fill out a credit application, I've got to wait 3 days for that credit application to be approved, I need to log in, I need to set up special pricing, I need to do all this and that. And with all those obstacles to overcome to make a purchase of a $20 item, and what you need to get it to your facility to avoid a line down situation.
Yeah.
What do you get? What's that? What's happening there? So it's what we have seen is that the user experience, taking down those buying walls and making it a lot easier for a potential customer to make that purchase is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one of the things that I think, and we've got a couple clients that have been in generic e-commerce categories, and one of them is generic as office supplies.
Sure.
Everybody goes online and buys office supplies.
Yep.
But I can tell you can create a business that's got tens of millions of dollars in revenue and profitable selling office supplies today against the big guys and everything else. And you have to show your price when you're on Amazon and Walmart and everything else. And you're just not the lowest price every time, but you're not always in that price discussion. The race to zero is only for those who want to keep going down.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
And it's temporary, because the race to zero that you're talking about is let the people do that if they want to. They won't be there long.
Yeah, and that brings up such a good point, Damon, is that just based off my experience, is that many of the distributors have been saying for many years, okay, we don't sell on price. We try to create value, and we do so many other things that go beyond price to show our customers value. Well, I think this is the time to to where you can enhance that value.
Yep.
Where, okay, and part of that value is making the user experience and that buying experience better for the end user.
Mm-hmm.
So you make that a little bit better and easier. But then when they do have questions about, oh, I'm looking at this, I need this widget to make this particular process more efficient. And they say, oh, you know what? I was on distributor X's website. They were super easy to deal with. They had a great website. They had a great e-commerce website. They had tons of information on there, great content. I'm going to call those guys and see what their experts say about this particular product.
Yeah.
And I just think that's the path to, again, just my opinion. What do I know? But just a path to showing that additional value to those end user customers.
Yeah, I agree. I agree as well. I think the bottom line is that it doesn't matter what people are buying. It can be cars, industrial supplies, but whatever you think off of Amazon, you may or may not like the fact, but everybody wants to be able to get on, find the price, research the product, find the price, buy the stuff now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's one other point too, is that just doing some research and being in the industry for like 20 years, there's some common things that happen. So let's just say up here in the Twin Cities, there's 10 different distributors, that industrial supply distributors.
Mm-hmm.
They have many different unique product lines, but then they have many common product lines that they carry. Yep. And they all have their own customers. But when distributor A is out of a 3M N95 mask, they have an account set up with the other distributors and can go on their website and make that purchase to satisfy their customer. And it happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, showing price, I mean, anybody can find it. If they really want to find it, they're going to find it anyhow. And that's just kind of a fact.
And I think when it comes back again to servicing the customers, I mean, it is about servicing customers, right? It's absolutely, hey, I need it in this time frame. I want to pay a reasonable price for it. And beyond that, it's like, there are these things, it's easy to buy from them. If we ever have a problem, it's easy to get it resolved. Those are still the things that companies have to do,
for sure.
But the more frictionless you can make the buying process. Yes. I can find it easy. I can get what I want when I want. And if I need help, I get the help I want. The combination is what really makes things happen.
Totally.
And agree. You can see that even when you're doing high volume stuff on Amazon, and good Amazon sellers know it's not just about being the cheapest price. It's about getting good reviews, because you respond to customer problems. You help them when they need it. You do provide that extra. You answer the questions when people have questions. Yep. And do those kind of things around it, because that creates the confidence in buying from you.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, you're talking about, it could be the same mask that I'm buying from. I can buy from 10 different distributors, but if Mike's place is the one that's always helps us out, gives us what we need when we need it, got good product. Even if you don't have it today and I have to go someplace else to get it, I'll come back to you tomorrow when you do have it and get it.
Absolutely. And I don't, that's the way I buy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you get a good experience from some place, you remember it, and you want to buy from them again. And the pricing aspect of it is, it's to me, it's that's something that's been ingrained a little bit. So I don't know, but anyway, it's definitely an interesting. It's definitely an interesting time to be, with in manufacturing and industrial supplies that support that industry. There's there's so much awesome technology that has been incorporated into making parts, and there's so much history with that. So, and the way that the business operates and the way industrial supply distributors have accommodated that. But there's it's just been done that way for so long. But it's very cool that things are slowly changing as well in the mindset of how or what the end user customers is demanding. So it's pretty cool.
The thing that's happening as well too, that I think that companies are beginning to realize is, whether we like it or not, the people that are buying are younger than they were 10 years ago, whatever. And we're working through these generations, right? And the people that are buying now, they grew up with a phone in their hand. They grew up with Amazon. They grew up being able to buy like this. People my age, I can still remember having to call somebody up to buy something, right? That just doesn't happen anymore. And we have to, all throughout whatever business we're in, you really have to understand who your buyers are better and how they want to buy. And honestly, the people in manufacturing are buying don't have time to buy. They don't have enough time to buy. And even years ago, when we were I was running contract manufacturing places and sheet metal and CNC machining, one of the things that would get you business that a lot of people didn't think about is, if I can take that problem off their desk faster than anyone else, I can probably charge a little bit more.
Yes. Yep. No, that's so true.
And it still is true today.
Yep.
So when you look at the whole thing you're talking about with your solution, ManufacturingPower, and how you guys are putting the two together, and then you look at your distributors and you go, okay, get good content, get an easy website to buy from. Like you said, don't have to set up an account. If you got a credit card, you can give us your address and we're going to ship it to you, right?
Yep.
And be ready to do that, because you just solve that problem faster than somebody else.
Well, here, to that point, that's such a good point. And when you said, people are getting younger and younger, we all, fact of life, obviously, but there's another change that has developed over the last couple of years. I'm sure you've seen it too, but out on shop floors, there was a long time where it was, when cell phones were coming into the equipment, which I remembered all this stuff, but when cell phones were starting to come in and gaining popularity and usage and all that stuff, there was a lot of companies that didn't allow cell phones out on the shop floor.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, well, we can't even stop it. Like, the tidal wave has come in and we can't even stop it. So people have cell phones out on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And if the people that are out on the floor are so used to being able to use that as a resource, there's a lot of things that can be impacted by that. From hey, I don't know how to improve my speeds on this machine. Maybe there's something on YouTube I can check to see if I can improve the process. And they're sitting there getting a tutorial on that exact process while they're sitting at their machine, and they just improve that process time and save the company a ton of money. Well, there's other opportunities, and I'm just making these examples up, obviously. But it's like that's where things have started to evolve to go into. So,
and again, you're solving the problem faster, because if you can develop an app or whatever that's on a phone, and we go, listen, this is how we buy our stuff, because it makes it faster for us. They can be wherever they're at. They could be walking out to an area and they go, oh, we need this. Let's see where we can get it.
Well, remember, so it's not too many years ago, actually, where everybody had the big giant books on their desk. You'd have the green book, you'd have the red book, you'd have the blue book, and the red, white, and blue book. And you'd leaf through, and there was so many people in like a maintenance role that would have, they would have the green book would be memorized. So you could go, again, not mentioning any names.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about. So the green book, you'd go, oh, I need a 6208 bearing. And you'd go up to the guy in the shop and you'd say, "Hey, Joe, what page is that on?" You go, "Oh, 7,400. Look in the second column on the right."
Yeah.
And you'd go there and you go, "Oh my God, there's that bearing that we need." And then you'd have to look it up. You'd make the phone call. "You got this in stock?" "No." "You got this in stock?" "Yes." "Okay, let's buy it from them." So just efficiency improvement. It's pretty cool. I love it.
Yeah, it is. It is. So as you're looking at the objections, we talked about showing the list price online, and we talked about the race for zero. So we're talking about objections, but now what are you seeing as people get over the objections and start to embrace it? What are you actually hearing when people do that?
Wow, that's a really good question. So what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing is that they're do you mean from a distributor standpoint or from an end user
from the
standpoint?
distributors, because they're the ones with the objections. We're sitting here saying we shouldn't this or that, but then when they get over that objection and they actually start using e-commerce, putting their prices online, doing the content, doing the whole 9 yards, what do they really see happening?
Well, it's they're seeing gains in their online sales.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're seeing gains in their online sales, but in our limited research that we've done, okay, over the last year or so of collecting some of this data, is that not only are their sales increasing, their online sales increasing, but they're actually setting goals and targets to meet different goals. So they're trying different things and they're becoming innovators to a certain extent and industry leaders. So I guess the most common thing is that if they do embrace that ease of use, they're gaining new customers, they're finding new opportunities, and it's leading to not only new customers but growing business within existing customers as well. So we get a lot of data and research from distributor data systems, distributor data solutions, DDS, I believe it's called. And their data consistently shows that. I mean, in e-commerce scenarios, if you smooth out and reduce the friction to make those purchases, and have a quality website, a quality e-commerce website, a quality content that's on there, it only helps. It only helps. There's not a downside. Now the challenge is getting people to the website.
Yeah.
And becoming findable. And from distributors that we deal with, it's definitely a learning process on how to do that, because so many have on the road salespeople that go door to door and do that type of thing, where it's a little bit of a shift of how do we drive people to the website so that we can realize some of those numbers. So I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it is. It really is, because they're increasing their sales. They're seeing that, and you make another good point. It does require some different thoughts about how our salespeople actually work, because you can have a fleet of salespeople that are out there talking to people every day, and what do you do if somebody comes in from the web, or what is the role of the salesperson anymore? If you could snap your fingers tomorrow and there are plenty of people coming through the web, maybe your salespeople don't have to go out and talk to new people. They talk to people that already know you but need some help. It's just that I think it's a different way of looking at it, like you said.
Yeah, and look, salespeople, there's always going to be a role, obviously.
Oh yeah,
there's so much value that salespeople bring to an organization. I'm not saying anything against that.
Nope.
But it's like an addition. Okay, what was I? There was a podcast it's either a podcast or something. Something I was looking at an article or something where it equated some of these new types of processes to when way back in the day when everybody found what they were looking for in the local newspaper. And it was like, okay, I go into the newspaper and I find the industrial distributor that's in my town. Okay, there they are. And that's how people used to do that. Well, then TV came along and TV commercials. Oh boy, okay, now I know there's 3 because there's TV commercials for that. I didn't even know they were there. I'm going to start calling these guys. Well, it's kind of that evolution as well. And I'm not saying anything that's groundbreaking or anything like that, but it's just it's an evolution to the sales and marketing process that distribution is, either they embrace it or, they decide to go in a different direction.
Yeah. So what's been the most interesting challenge for you as you guys have tried to marry the end users of these industrial supplies together with the distributors?
Challenge is kind of overcoming what we just talked about. As far as the biggest challenge that we see is the distributor's willingness to share price and content, because they want to protect that as an asset, which I certainly understand. And that's been, that's a challenge that we try to overcome every single day. And there's there's ones that embrace the change and ones that choose to go in a different direction.
Yeah. Awesome. So as you're looking forward, what's exciting you for 2023?
Oh man. Well, I have such, as you can tell, I'm talking about our business the entire time, but which I apologize about, but man, I am so jazzed up for things that we have coming up on our product roadmap that is really designed for end users and distributors to kind of marry you keep going like this, which I love that, but like we're trying to marry those two even more. We're in the midst of a beta test for our this is a little product placement here, but we're in supply with an eye. We're in the process of a beta test for that right now. We're collecting feedback from distribution and from end users as far as how that's working out. But it's there's so many cool things that are happening with that. We've got big ambitious goals, and I'm so like this right now as far as got the blinders on to try and execute on that. So
well, it's fun that you got it's got to be fun because you're helping people in the end. You're helping them get, like you said, get the products you need when you need them, and take the friction out of buying things so that people can get the industrial supplies quickly at a reasonable price and move on about their day. And that's something that everyone's going to want. I mean, that's what we're all striving for. Get the stuff we need, get on with our day and do what we want to do. So it's good stuff. And if someone wants to reach out to you about this, Mike, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Best way is I'm constantly on LinkedIn and trying to network with people and trying to see what are the latest and greatest things that are out there. I mean, there's so much. LinkedIn has been, I think that's how we met. In fact, I know that's how we met.
Yes.
LinkedIn is great. You can look me up, Mike Franz,
Very good.
on LinkedIn. My email address is mike@manufacturingpower.com. Those are probably the two best ways.
There you go. Well, I tell you what, Mike, thanks for stopping by today. Cause I really, this getting over these e-commerce objections. It doesn't matter if we're talking today about industrial supply distributors, but we talk about this with manufacturers, OEM manufacturers, you talk about this with contract manufacturers, and what is happening. And it is because you said the buying expectations are changing, continuing to change and do it. And people are expecting to be able to buy things right now if they can. And if you can't do it, they might jump to the next place to get it. So it really is not a nice to, but a must have kind of thing. And it's just getting more and more that way every day. And it's great seeing you help them.
Well, Damon, I appreciate that very much. One last thing as far as that goes, if it just popped into my head, and there's so many times that I try to kind of relate our stuff to people. And when was the last time that you bought an airplane ticket? And how did you go about doing that?
Yeah.
You go on Kayak, you go on Priceline, you go on any of those places, and they've got all the different carriers, price, they've got all that stuff. You choose one, bam, done, make the purchase, and you're out the door. So yeah. I don't know. There's so many other markets and areas that it works in, and it's just very cool. It's just very cool.
Is. You're helping the industrial supply distributors in this area. We've seen things on when you look at, if I'm like a sheet metal fabrication place, I saw it a few months ago, where you literally can drop your design and you get a quote instantly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not for somebody that's wants 14 million of those things, but listen, most people, they're looking for a reasonable price and get an idea. But if I want that thing and I want it and I need it fairly quickly, or I need some pricing for reference to buy later, whatever it is, that piece is really important.
Huge.
And, I look at, there's so many different applications out there that by using, just being able to make the process easier is such a huge thing. And if you're the one that makes it easier, I think you're going to win in the end. It's just,
you just mentioned that. The technology and the focus, like on that specific example, how cool is that? You can put in the specs of what you're looking for. You can submit a drawing or whatever, and you get something like that. And it's just, I get so pumped up about it, because that's the technology portion of it is really driving that simplicity and that ease of use, which is very cool. I just love it.
So good. So good. Well, Mike, thanks for being here today.
Thanks,
appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely.
Thanks everyone for listening today. We're going to shut her down for now. We'll be back again next week. Mike, hang out for a moment and we'll talk.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone.